performance,
That's
because
a very good point.
That's the way it goes with if you're a keeper at a bottom team. If you're at a team that Arsenal aren't the top team at the moment, but supposed to be a bigger team, there's always going to be more scrutiny on the goalkeepers. If we started Martinez, then we'd have maybe got a point there or 3 points here. I think it was always going to be difficult for Leno. I'm no way kind of anti-Leno at all. Okay. I think he's a great keeper. I think he's a great shot stopper. I love Martinez, but look, I think Martinez probably, it was the right time for him to move on. Yeah. From a kind of selling perspective as well, probably a bit scary for the board who invested more money in Leno as a transfer to then go, actually, we're going to go with the keeper we've had for 5 seasons. Kind of makes you look a bit stupid. Yeah, that's true. So they probably were more happy to let Martinez go for that as well. But look, I like Leno. I think he's a good keeper.
Okay, so I've written down 3 defenders. 2 of them I think are a problem, and 1 of them I think gets unfairly criticised. But I'm going to see if you could pick 2 defenders that you think are mainly our problem. What are the names that come to mind?
Difficult. See, I really like Bellerin, but
his name is on the list, funnily enough.
Yeah. So the problem with him is that as much as I like him as a person, and he obviously, I do think he genuinely loves the club. I think he has actually weirdly got a bit better with his final pass when he gets into the final third, but there's no doubt about it. He's lost his pace, and Bellerin today would never have got that assist against Bayern Munich. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah, no way. Those injuries have absolutely knackered him. Yeah.
And Bellerin, that was his best asset, was his pace, and he doesn't have that anymore. So I think, it pains me to say it, and I was only defending him a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, but I kind of think now I'd rather have Ainsley starting right back. Again, Ainsley gives the ball away quite a lot. He can be quite inconsistent, but you need to have pace if you're a fullback, and Maitland-Niles has that in abundance. I'm not sure Bellerin does anymore.
Yeah, I think the other thing Ainsley's got is he's got a lot more strength than Bellerin as well, which makes him defensively a bit more sturdy. I love Bellerin. I love that a person like that is at our club, someone who's like pro LGBT rights and pro trying to change the climate change and stuff. And I love that we've got someone like that. And it breaks my heart that the injuries have absolutely...
The problem is with Bellerin is he's more of a mascot than a player at the moment. Really. And, I just think, look, he's good if he can find some form. If he could get his pace back again, then I'd love it. But the reality is he's only ever going to get older, and I don't think that pace is going to come back. So I think Bellerin is a bit of a problem at the moment. The other 2 problems that I know don't start are Mustafi and Socrates. They shouldn't be on the wage bill. They should have been moved on. I don't understand why they haven't been moved on yet. They really should be.
I think the reason why they haven't been moved on is because nobody wants them.
No one wants to buy them,
who is going to be offering for Mustafi? I saw him linked with Barcelona, and I was like, that is insanity. When you've so publicly been quite terrible and been a key part of a club's worst period, when people think about Arsenal's worst period, his name is going to be top of the list next to Xhaka, probably, of people who symbolise it. Who is then going to come in and buy him afterwards? I can't see it. The same with Socrates. I like that he's a leader. I like that he kind of rallies people, but I always remember that game against Watford when they had 40 odd shots against us, and he just absolutely stank the place out. Cannot
Socrates
does not work with him.
Every time he looks like he's coming on, I think I just don't trust him. He scares me. And it's the same with Mustafi. If they're starting, I get scared. I don't really feel that scared with Gabriel, definitely. I think he's a really good signing. I know he made a mistake in the week. I think that is one of the best signings we've made in years. He looks a proper player. And I don't know how you're going to react to this because we haven't spoken about it, but I don't mind David Luiz.
Okay, he was the next name on the list. I have a very complicated relationship with David Luiz.
So I think that he makes mistakes. He does do it. I think he's actually weirdly, last season he did. He hasn't made any mistakes this season.
Oh, don't jinx it. Touch wood. Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood. Yeah. But he's good on the ball. He can pick a pass. I wish to God he'd stop taking free kicks. That annoys me. But But I don't think, and I think the person that gets a bad rap is Holding. I'm not sure if you were going to say that.
No, well, I put his name down and I said he does nothing spectacular, but he does nothing wrong. And
he's got the most clearances out of any defender in the league this season for us. Did you know that?
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so he's got more clearances than Gabriel this season. I can't see a mistake he made. Even the goal against Southampton that Walcott put away, it was down the left. It wasn't his channel, and it was kind of, personally, El Nene shouldn't be diving in there. No. He kind of nicked it away from Gabriel, and it was all a bit messy. Then Gabriel got caught out, but I think Holding gets a bad rap. But defender-wise, I'd probably look to try and get some money out of Bellerin now, because you probably could, and invest it somewhere else on the pitch. And then, I'd try and move on Mustafi, and Socrates, even if it just meant terminating Socrates' contract. You could probably get 5 or 10 mil from Mustafi, but just get them out.
Yeah, I think the money they're taking off the wage budget is more important than them not starting. If you know what I mean, exactly. We just need them gone. And I think the energy they have in the changing room not playing probably isn't great. And we'll talk about other players in the changing room who aren't playing that might be affecting the attitude. But David Luiz, I think he's a liability, but weirdly he's the closest thing we have to a leader in the changing room. So it's this weird dichotomy of, you can tell the players love him and he's like a mentor to the young players, but the City game, when he just came on and just completely ruined the game, he is capable of doing these things. So he does scare me. But we're going to move on to the midfield.
Just quickly, quick shout out to Kieran Tierney, who is unbelievable player.
Yes.
Absolute heart. Looks like but there's not. I don't think there's many Scottish Arsenal fans, but he just looks great. Just quick shout out to him.
I think alongside Gabriel, he is one of the signings that in a few years we're going to look and go, wow, 27 million was nothing for him. I think I love that he
for Tierney, didn't we?
Sorry?
Did we pay less than that? Was it 27 million?
I thought I read today it was 27, but I thought.
Oh, right, fair enough. Still good.
Yeah, I think it's absolute. I think he's instantly one of the better left backs in the league, and I love that he's proper heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, definitely.
He gives a shit. He gives a shit, and that's what we need. We're going to move to midfield, and it's finally time to talk about Granit Xhaka, I think.
I'm almost tempted not to say anything about him. He doesn't deserve it.
Should we just say?
Get out.
Should we just say I've never been so angry with him as the first time he was booed off, and then when he got sent off against Burnley.
Yeah, he's not there. He's not there. Yeah. He's not quick enough on the ball to play in the Premier League. Weirdly, I know Tommi was talking about Inter Milan moving. He'd probably do quite well at Inter because he'd get time at the ball. International football, he's great because he gets so much time on the ball all the time. He can look up, but hasn't got the pace for the Premier League, makes reckless challenges. I don't think he cares about the fans anymore after that booing. I don't think. He took Arsenal off his Instagram page and he never put it back on. And the fact that Gabriel has apologised already for his 2 yellows, and we're still waiting for Xhaka's apology, which will never come, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
and it speaks volumes about the guy. He doesn't care. Get him out. Hate him.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's I don't know if you listen to the Tuesday Club with Alan Davis is fucking amazing, but his rant about Granit Xhaka is unbelievable, and he just says after the first time he was booed off, he just said, I don't want this guy anyway. I don't want him to wear the shirt again. He should be gone.
No.
I know that Arsenal fans did horrific things, sending awful messages to his family.
Oh yeah, no excuse for that.
And nobody deserves that. And I think if I was Granit Xhaka at that point, I might have told everyone to fuck off as well. But once you've done that to fans, you've shown that it's done. Just get rid of him. He's gone.
I know Arteta didn't throw him under the bus completely, but I would be very surprised. And it would change my view on Arteta, I think, a little bit if Xhaka played for Arsenal again. I think he should go in January. I really do. And I think we could probably, again, Inter Milan or someone, get... I think someone would pay 20 mil for him. I think they would. So
take that. Yeah.
He'll do all right in Europe.
So as part of the midfield, one that confuses me is El Neni, right? We shipped him out on loan to Besiktas, and I thought his time was done. Against Manchester United, he looked like a world beater. Against Burnley, he should have been sent off. I can't understand what his role is within the squad and how he's managed to find himself back in the fold. Is it just because we're in such a shit state?
Yeah, look, he's a good player. He's all right. Is he going to do anything special? Is he going to get you Champions League football? No, I don't think so. he moves the ball quite well side to side. He keeps the game ticking. You know, you put him in a Newcastle team, and he looks like a proper good player. Is he you know, top 6 sides? I don't think he is really. He's got an absolute worldie in the Europa. I'll give him that. I think against you know, he had a very good game against United, and I think that spoke volumes really about Thomas Partey and how good he was, and how El Nene next to Thomas Partey looked comfortable because he had a great player next to him. You know, you take that away, and you know he's not going to do anything by himself. He always looks like he's in a rush to do nothing. That's how I describe him. He looks quite panicky, and then he just passes it sideways. So. Look, I like him as a guy. Again, he looks like he likes the club, and he looks like a decent player, not a bad player to have in your squad to play in those Europa League games. But I wouldn't start him with our strongest 11. He's all right. That's about it, really, man.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to the forwards. Before we talk about the players that we like, we're going to quickly move on to the forwards. Now, Oba, we can talk about forever with the contract extension, etc. But I wanted to focus on Lacazette and Pepe. Now, I think we kind of briefly, with Willian, we were talking about how it's hard for a player to come in and perform in an underperforming team. I feel like Pepe is kind of suffering with the same problem, as well as I don't think we play the right type of football for him. At Lille, he was playing in a counter-attacking team. He got the ball and he had time to run at the defence. He had space to run into. We don't play that kind of football. I feel like maybe... he has been underwhelming, but also people give him too much stick. He has been better than people think he is, I think.
Yeah, I really like Pepe. I think what you're going to get with Pepe when you're playing him for 90 minutes is 50-60% of the game he's not going to do great. And it's going to be very frustrating. But he's one of those players that will that will create magic in the game. And we don't have that many players. I mean, look, I'm not comparing him to Sanchez at all. Sanchez is a much better player than Pepe, but Sanchez used to give the ball away a lot. People forget about how frustrating sometimes he was to watch. But every game he would do something. He would score a goal. He'd find the assist. He'd find a pass. And yeah, he does that better than Pepe, no question. But I do think it's a similar kind of thing that Pepe is very inconsistent. Throughout the game, he'll make mistakes. You know, he'll take a corner and kick it off, and it'll be like, oh, God. But he will get an assist or he will get a goal. I mean, some of the goals he scored in the Europa League, those free kicks, you know, that takes a player with quality to do that. And people forget he's still very young. I think he's only 23. You know, he's a massive signing. He's a young player. Those things will go. And that's what I'd say about him. I think that he's got sparks of magic in him, and I think it's worth playing him for those 2 or 3 things per game. That currently, I mean, I'd rather that than Willian just get the ball and pass it back. Yeah, he might not make many mistakes, but he's not doing anything. I'd rather see a player go out and make mistakes trying to do something, and I think that Pepe does that. And for me, I'd play him every week.
Nice. No, I think that's fairly spot on. So finally, we're going to talk about Lacazette. I love Lacazette. I've got him on the back of last year's shirt. I think he scored some of my favourite goals in recent times. But he has this knack of he'll score 3 in 3 games and then he won't score for 10 games. And I don't think I've seen a player who depends more on confidence than Lacazette.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree 100%. Massive confidence player. The annoying thing about Lacazette is when he moves on, which I think he will, either in January or the summer, probably the summer, I'm sure he'll start banging in goals, which will be so annoying because there's no doubt about it. The guy can finish. He can. I think he needs a change of scenery. I don't think that he's ever going to recover the form that he is. I mean, he looks like he's starting to get his form back, and then he'll, you know, head over the bar from 6 yards out like he did, and that'll be it again. And I think he's got quite a toxic relationship with the fans. Think, you know, he knows that if he's going to make a mistake, the fans are going to be on him, and I think that plays in his mind. I definitely think that he's a very kind of confidence-related player, like you said, and I like Lacazette. I think he's a good finisher, but I think the best thing for both clubs probably, as much as I don't really want to say, you know, I'm not a guy for telling players to get out unless they're Granit Xhaka or Socrates, but I think probably needs to move on. I'd say.
Yeah, I think he's in a similar boat of a lot of the players, and it's feeding into the atmosphere of the club, which is they know that they're not in the manager's long-term plans. So why would you really try that hard when you know you're only going to be sold in 6 months or a year's time? Like, I think he kind of sums it up a little bit. But before we wrap it up,